Oh, there it goes. Okay. For some reason, those did not embed. Although only one of them did. Usually they both do, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. Hello. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It looks like we're all set. Got sound from the microphone, not the output, which is good. So, put this here. All right. Welcome. Thanks to anybody watching. For anyone that's new, let me get a few more of these windows under control over here. There we go. For anybody that's new, my name is Tim. I got my phone guy on GitHub and Discord, and I usually stream around this time of each week, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And I am typically working on some stuff related to CircuitPython. If you are new and you don't know what CircuitPython is, you'll learn more about it at the main website for the project, circuitpython.org. It is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers, such as all the ones on this page. For instance, the PyGamer I have loaded up to mess with here in a minute. And also we are working with the, Feather S3, Feather TFT maybe will get us there quicker, Feather TFT. With a little screen on it, but generally speaking, these devices are like tiny computers. If you choose to run CircuitPython on them, which is just one of the ways that you can program them, then it will typically work like this. You plug it into your computer with a USB cable, it shows up like a thumb drive, you edit the code that's on that thumb drive, and then you can save it, and the Python code that is on that little drive will actually get interpreted and executed by the computer that is in these that is on these little microcontroller devices. These little microcontrollers come in all different shapes and sizes and a range of different capabilities and things built into them. The kind of like most typical case is a very general device that's made to be hooked up to other stuff. So it just has a lot of exposed pins, which you can then hook up to whatever you want. But there are some more purpose-built ones as well, like a little kind of mini tablet type thing. These playgrounds, which are great for education because they got a bunch of built-in lights and sensors and buttons and a switch and all kinds of things that you can do right away with it and see visually, kind of tactilely, so to speak. This little macro pad here has got some Cherry compatible keys, a little display, and a knob. So some of them are a bit more purpose-built than others, but all of the 549 that are here you can run CircuitPython on, which is kind of what I typically work on at this time of the week each week. Today, we are jumping right in to this pumpkin toss game. Hug Report goes to Sam Blenny for sharing this. And we need to do a little bit of setup before we can jump in and play, but it looks pretty cool. I'm excited to play it, and then once we can get in running and working, I want to also try and tweak it to see if we can measure any kind of effect from the anchored tile grid that I'm working on, because I'm curious about this. There is a learn guide link. Let me do that. Let's see. Where did that go? Learn. Maybe that was not talking about the... There's a playground guide. Add bundle manifest link to the playground. Playground is on guide link meta, which is in, I don't know, bundle manifest? I'm not sure what that does. I guess we can copy it from there. Huh. I don't think I've seen this before. Interesting. I'll have to look into this. Bundle. Which tool uses this? The bundle, the learn bundling thing? Huh. library bundle. So it's pointing to a certain dates library bundle, and then looks like it's got some dependencies. And it's got a list of files of what to include. And it's got a link to the guide. This must be the guide bundler thing. Interesting. I had no idea about this file. Anyway, the playground one is what we are really mostly here for. So this game runs on a Feather TFT, and then you can plug in the game controller through a host Featherwing. I have not seen this video though. I don't know if it shows the connection or just the screen. It's kind of this catapult action here. Okay, doesn't look like you can see the controller. So I don't think we need a super fancy controller. And we can't see it there, but it's basically connected with the USB host Featherwing, connected up to that TFT feather. And then the game just uses 1 or 2 buttons, I believe. Like one maybe to start the game and a different one perhaps, or it might even be the same one, I'm not sure, to... it looks like we have a couple. Start, select, and then A button, looks like. Okay, and so the first thing though is I don't have the controller that this uses, which is probably listed somewhere. Xbox 360, 8-bit. This is it right here. How's it going, C. Grover? Good morning. So this is like a little sort of, it's kind of an interesting controller, really. It's like a Super Nintendo sort of vibe, but it's got the modern dual joysticks. Kind of interesting. And then it plugs in with USB, but I do not have one of these. What I'm going to try to use, and I don't know for sure if it's going to work, but I'm hoping that it will. I'm going to try to use this other guide, which I found, which runs on the PyGamer or the PyBadge because they're very similar. And it's pretty much like turn your device into a gamepad. And since we don't need the joysticks or anything super fancy from the gamepad, I'm thinking maybe we can just use this and it will work. We might have to reconfigure it to make start and select behave how the game expects, and maybe A as well. We'll have to see. But I'm hoping this will work. So this one is not CircuitPython though. We're going to run this on the PyGamer just to use it as a controller to input to the CircuitPython code. I do have the PyGamer connected, and what I am going to do though before I flash this controller thing to it, well, first we're going to get the right project open. I'm going to just spec that up. PyGamer 1012. So if I understand correctly, I believe the actual code and everything, all these files and stuff actually stay put as far as I know. But just in case they don't, we have a backup now. And then we want to go to bootloader. Let me get the camera. Oops, that's the wrong browser. Actually... Okay. We have a PyGamer with some other unrelated code on it. But we are just gonna go double tap reset for bootloader. Get this UF2 we downloaded. Drop that here and see how it goes. You can't really read that. It says joy config file not found using default configuration in a little kind of dialogue looking thing. And then it's got like a circle down here. I think it's got an A inside of it, but it is yellow on white, which is a bit tough to read. So I'm going to press what I think is the A button and see if something happens, which it did, which is nice. So like I think, yeah, so in this case we can move these around and the eyes move. I'm not sure if those are reacting to me or just kind of going on their own while I was pressing those. I think those are just kind of going on their own. So we'll see now this is going to work. So we need to get the code for this, which if this thing has the bundler, actually, we can maybe just use the bundle link here? Does that have as a download file? I thought I saw a bundle link, maybe though. Maybe not. I was thinking of a different thing. Ah, bundle, yeah, there is. Yeah, totally. Points to a release. Oh, okay. Okay. Not exactly the project, well, I don't know. I don't think it's exactly the project bundler. It's basically pointing to a zip in the release, which I assume would have been manually put together, but maybe not. Maybe the actions build the zip. Let me look at the actions real fast. I'm kind of curious about this bundle config. No manifest config. So is there an action that did that? Bundle builder calls make bundle. Where does that come from? Make bundle? There's a make file? Not a make file. Oh, there is a make file. It's capital. Runs bundle builder. And a few other things. Copies it to your drive, potentially? How's that gonna work, though? Oh, well, you're gonna run it locally. Yeah, okay, I was thinking the action. Well, but it's not gonna do anything when you run it with the action, I guess. Well, but I suppose the action is running make bundle only, right? The action is never really running make sync. Okay. Okay, so then bundle builder is the magic. Which is actually this. Huh, this is really cool. Neat. You could be... I gotta go. I'll be back in a few minutes, probably. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Neighbor popped over for a minute. It's back out of my pocket. Shouldn't have brought these here. Well. Okay. All right. Where were we at here? So yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna play with this a bit more. But the real reason we're here is to use the actual bundle, which is nice because it is all put together here. It does have a boot. Do I have a boot pie? So then we need to plug in the feather, which I also have here. So now we have a gamepad. I'm going to move that. It's got pretty graphics or whatever. That's not part of necessarily this game. We don't need, but that happens to be part of the program that also drives the gamepad. I'm going to plug this in, and I'm going to plug in actually the PyGamer to this host port. We have a host feather. We have a feather wing. And then we have a TFT feather. And have, of course, lost the coin flip on screen direction. Do we want to turn it around or just try to flip it in the code? Fairly painless. Hopefully this is out of my way enough. Okay. So it has some unrelated code. We need to. I want to make sure. I want to see if it has a boot. Let's have a boot. It's the right thing. Let's refresh this. Just auto reload. Okay, what is this one? USB disable. I'll just add this to mine. HID. Okay, so that's going to turn off the ability to be a keyboard, which we're fine with, I think. I think that's what that's going to do, at least. Okay, and then the CodePy that's here, this is like a GPS simple test. I don't think I need to keep it. Well, I did switch it up a tiny bit, actually. Let me keep it anyway. I think I switched it from I2C to UART for my GPS thing. But it is in the GPS repo examples folder, and it does already have the commented out versions of what I did. I just swapped some of the comments. But it'll be nice to have if we ever need to go back to it. So lib, I will think just pass on the lib. I can always use circup to install anything we need there. And then I'll just take all of this. Sure, state machine and gamepad, those are fairly general. Let's make sure we're not gonna... Okay, no, I was just working with some other state machine stuff recently. I wanted to make sure I didn't have randomly like a file called that already. Copy files, CodePy exists, yeah, so we're gonna overwrite that. That's the GPS thing. Now that will be this. And we'll probably need a few things. Is it why are we doing that? Do we need to do that? I'm not sure we need to do that. Oh, it did rotate it. I wonder which rotation we're on. I'm gonna try actually without that. I guess it would be nice to run it by itself first, but I'm curious, and my understanding is we don't really need that necessarily. If you were using a different... Does bus get used by anything else? Doesn't look like it. If you were using a different display or something, but I think we should be able to just use the built-in display, right? Display equals board.display. Because it is true... okay, so auto refresh, we can still do that anyway though. We can just say auto refresh false. We can even, I'm pretty sure, change the rotation if we want. Rotation, yeah, we could change that to 270 if it needed to be. What is this? Yeah. Oh, it does. Oh, okay. The 4-wire bus to the display is not needed, but the SPI bus will be for the USB thing. So this is true. It does default to be in the built-in display for the console, but you don't need to release it to change that. You just need to set a new root group on it, which presumably is happening already somewhere. Yeah, right there. So as soon as you set a new root group onto the display, even if it's the built-in display, which is showing the REPL or the serial output, as soon as you set a new root group, it will change what's visible to the group that you put. You don't necessarily need to reinitialize it, I don't think. Maybe there could be some magic to these two. If these aren't the default values, then maybe there's something utilizing those as part of the game. But I'm curious. I'm going to save that. I have auto reload turned off so it won't run, but I think we have everything that is needed for it to run at this point. Maybe missing some libraries, we'll see. I mean, probably if there's a host driver library. I don't have that. Yeah. I'm not sure where that comes from. Is that a... Well, we do have the bundle here. We can just Yank that, maybe? Oh, that's not here, though. Hmm. Is that a built-in thing? Maybe that's a built-in thing. Yeah, I mean, it has stubs, which are from the core, so I guess that's a built-in thing. Probably have that. Gamepad. Well, so that's gamepad, the file. Okay. No module. I am on 905. I have no idea when that would have been added, but a good first step pretty much is always just to go download the latest one. I think was released new beta just the other day. I'm just gonna do the beta first. I can't read it. Not implemented error filter, not something. I'm just gonna do this. Filter's not supported. Okay, maybe we need a new image load as well. Looks like it's PNG stuff. That one is in the bundle, actually. I think. Yeah. Okay, we can just take this one if it's known good. Probably we just need a newer one. Would not be surprised if the last time I used images on this device was a long time ago randomly. Well, that's not good. Is it full? This is all wrecked now. I wonder if it's full. So that's at 61%, which is not particularly cool. Hmm. So I can LS here. Images is very unhappy. Is images from this thing? I think all the images were just in the root, weren't they? Yeah, there's these. These are all just in the root. These are all pretty small too, right? So none of those are even a K. So I mean, is this gonna let me just nuke images, I guess, or not sure what's in there, but can't remove. Can I sudo? Read-only file system. All right. Well, I'm guessing then. Really, my best guess is that the storage is kind of jacked. I mean, it doesn't really. Does it make sense to try to copy this? Oh, this isn't even the right thing. Okay. Well, PyCharm doesn't even show an images folder. Maybe it realizes it's messed up and is hiding it for that reason, I guess. IO exception. Yeah, it looks like we didn't get a clean copy there either. Less backups from a little bit ago too. It's kind of a bummer. Just, those are just all gonna fail. This one has way less stuff in it. Yeah, just like half of these are wrecked. Half of them aren't, seems like. No rhyme or reason necessarily. And I can't easily just copy all the ones that work either, seemingly, which would be super convenient. That's kind of a bummer. Apparently, I don't know where this is at. But did that at least, like, do the ones that it could, or? Yeah, seemingly. We got a lot more, if nothing else. Definitely lost some stuff, but looks like that stuff's gone. Non-blocking, this is, I'm assuming this was not an empty file before, or convert photo. Guessing these had stuff in them, but. Well, got what we can, I guess. Got some of this stuff too. Alright, well, as good as we can get. What is it? Storage? And I mean, at this point, I guess let's just copy everything, because now we don't have any boot pie or anything else. Couldn't paste Permissions don't allow pasting. I mean, sure, if you tried. What? What does that mean? How can that be possible if I edited the files there? What did it say? I don't even know what it said. Permissions do not allow pasting files in this directory. Okay, I mean, first thing I'm gonna do is just unplug it and replug it, because that's never been like that before. And I just did the storage erase. Maybe it's just weird for now, and if I rebed it, it will go back to not being weird anymore. Or get more weird. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Maybe I just jumped the gun. Got too early on it. Let's see. How do I keep closing the one with this stuff? Okay. Do I want to merge lib with lib? Yeah, lib doesn't have anything in it, so definitely just do that. Okay, yeah. Okay. We don't care about this anymore because reboot fixed it. Seemingly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but CodePy overwrite hello world with the one for the project. Paste all of those. Okay. Oop. It was running and I stopped it, but I didn't mean to. Okay, yeah, so it was showing the serial, and then now it switched to this. I mean, it seems like it looks okay to me, but I'm not as in tune with how it's supposed to look. Let's make sure. I think this picture was here, right? So yeah, we have, maybe it messed up the trees? Oh no, okay. Yeah, so we have skeletons at the bottom, we have trees at the top. We can maybe zoom right up in. No, not really. Okay. I do notice that it seems relatively stuck on this thing up here. Just says finding USB gamepad. This helps us kind of see the skeletons and stuff a bit better. So I'm assuming that it did not find it. It's just setting on press start. Can't see both on the screen, but I'm gonna try pressing what I think is start on the gamepad. That's not doing anything. So we will need to potentially configure the gamepad. I believe the game is using maybe start select in A. But I mean, it's not finding it though. Okay, one thing I don't necessarily want to do for a super duper long time is chase getting the gamepad working. So if I fail before too much longer, I'm going to bail on getting the gamepad working and probably try to just modify the code to mock it. Gamepad ready. I don't know what GP is. Gamepad, I guess. Input gamepad. GP find and configure. This core find. Oh, okay. These are specific to that. How do you find these numbers for the thing that's plugged in? What is this? The VID PID? How Linux, how to find VID PID of device plugged in. Use the command lsusb. Well, that's not gonna work though because gamepad's not plugged into the computer. Gamepad is plugged into the Featherwing USB host. So this feels like the kind of thing we probably want to do here. Hi gamer. Okay. Ox? Okay. So now we try plugging this back in. Whoop. After we earthquake the camera. Oh, it went away. Nice. Okay, so press start. I think the right button is start. That didn't do anything. Try left button, no dice. Okay, nothing. A, B, nothing. Joypad, nothing. Okay. So next thing we're gonna do is, so it looks like we connected, but it's not sending the signals that this thing is expecting. What are these mad about? Unresolved interface? Endpoint? Timeout? Oh, those are these. Okay, I guess maybe this is mad because it's not saying like self dot? Pretty sure it should probably be self dot. But I guess it must work anyway? I don't know. So my next guess is that these are different. Poll. Okay. Are we calling? I mean, I assume that we are calling this somewhere. Yeah. This is probably going to slow it way down, but I'm just, to make sure that we're getting called here, I'm just going to do this. Yeah. Although we do just kind of stay inside of it. We don't, doesn't look like we return. I was kind of expecting that to call over and over. But I mean, there is a while true right here, so. So I'm gonna guess maybe that we're just getting this? Well, no, I mean, we're just. I guess this maybe doesn't return? Adam Sandler? BRB? It's a funny name, my friend. Let's see. Of course you're gone. No? But you'll be RB. Yeah, let's just do an after. Okay, we are timing out. We are always timing out. And that's going very fast, unfortunately. Yeah, and I'm pressing buttons and it's not mattering. Not changing the output there. Okay. I may have fundamentally misunderstood this gamepad project here. This looks like it's connecting as a keyboard. We could prove that. Yeah. We get back into the computer. Yeah. Okay, that is not going to work. And I don't know what dev read. It's device read. Device is device that got set up. So I'm pressing buttons and device read never really never seems to have any values, any data. Because we never saw after dev read. I mean, read takes an endpoint and a size or buffer. So read... Well, that's reading 81. Dev read here is reading endpoint, which is 81 also. My guess is that's not HID, probably. USB HID endpoint descriptor. Is that a number? Yeah, I don't really want to go down this far. Yeah, I mean, I'm way in over my head on any of this stuff. I don't really know anything about USB, HID, or any of the underlying stuff. If there was just like try a different number, we could do that. I have no idea what to do though. And really, I don't care about the USB half of this. I care about the display IO half of this. Okay, so for button and pull. Okay. What is buttons? What does this return or yield? Unpack. Buff 64. I don't know. Buff 64. Just a byte array that holds 64 bytes. So we're reading 64 bytes or perhaps up to, maybe. I don't know if it's reading all 64. We're only getting bytes 2 to 4. Which is... So 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. So the indexes 2 and 3. We have 2 bytes, and then when you unpack 2 bytes, you get what? Just unpack. Why is this? Why is this like this? Struct unpack? Why not just use struct unpack? I don't know. I'm not sure I follow why import that and put it on a private one and then call the private one. I guess it's a little bit shorter? I mean, it's not though. It's one longer if we import it this way. I don't know. Doesn't matter too much, really. We won't have it here though, so we'll just do this. We don't have this. This is just buff. Buttons is 1027. Is that hex 34? Or 03? 04? So I guess hex 304? No? What is this? Capital H. What? Unsigned short. So ultimately buttons is a number, and buttons needs to basically it needs to basically satisfy these bitwise for A, for start, and for select. So A is 2000. So I'm a bit rusty, really. What does bitwise mean more specifically? think this means 2000. That means the bit in a certain position is going to be true or not. If both are 1. So well, we just have a regular int, and we're doing this on this thing, and that's 0. Yeah, but I don't know why. We would need the binary representation of this, and the binary representation of the other one. Valid syntax for integer with base 2. Okay, that's not what we want. How do I convert from the number to the bits? No, I don't want a function. What? Bin? Okay. But it's a string. Okay. Whatever. Doesn't matter if it's a string. Okay. For that to be true, those are going to have to be both having a 1 in the same spot of that. Which is a fairly large number. $81.92. Okay. That's the biggest one we need. Because we don't seem to care about these ones. So then when... So that is a button mask, basically. And then we want start and select also, which are 10 and 20. But realistically, I kind of want to have more zeros. 20. What? Okay, so this is 14 characters. This is only 5, so we need 9 leading zeros. This is 6, so we need... Was it 14? So we need 8 this time instead of 9. And all 3 of these buttons would be a 1 there, and then 2 1s down here in the 1, 2, 3, 4 5th, and 6th back from the end, which is tough to measure before we actually go out to the end. So let's just fill in zeros. Let's make sure it's 14. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, and 6th. So that would be all 3 buttons down. So that and 2000 should be true. Doesn't come out as true. Comes out as a number. Comes out as either a number or a 0. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So buttons is basically this number. I feel like I'm gonna muck this all up, like changing it so much. I really, man, I wish the gamepad would work, or I wish I knew how to switch it to a keyboard much easier. Like, I'm sure it's just changing the endpoint or something. Could be relatively easy to change, but I don't know how. I don't know what select does, but it seems like start is gonna start the game, and A is going to fire the pumpkin, but you need to hold it down. I don't understand what the select button does. So machine handle gamepad MH, and then we're just calling MH and we're passing in machine select. I don't know what is machine. Machine is, I don't even know what machine is. Machine is just machine. Tick, state machine probably. State machine. So state machine has handle gamepad, which has button. Not sure I follow that, because shouldn't the A button be greater than that? I don't know how that works though. So then it basically maps the button to a state, but these are states, not buttons. I don't really see what the select button does. I find it a little challenging to follow this code. Oh, it's not a featherwing. Okay. Okay. I will try this. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I do have to run and grab it. It is a featherwing. One I have is a featherwing, at least. Feather joy wing. So I'm gonna do my best to just leave all the USB stuff here, even though we're not using it, so that it still takes up the same amount of memory and the same amount of time. I mean, it's probably not gonna be the actual same amount of time because it's not gonna be receiving anything. But as good as I can get with what I've got. These have different names. It's confusing to have both button start and start, but we'll know that button is actually Joywing button. We don't really care about the joysticks, so I'm just going to leave those bits out. This is initializing. We need to do this probably here. And then to read it, we need seesaw. So I'm going to go self.seesaw. Saves time on dictionary name lookups. That's why that does that, I guess. Interesting. Okay, so we only care about A and start and select. And so we need to basically construct our Boolean number Okay, this is probably the most janky way you could do it. I mean, we shouldn't probably do it that way. Okay. Let me split this. So we can OR together these. The A button is the biggest one. So if the A button is pressed, then buttons return bitwise or equals to that. If the start button is pressed, then buttons return is bitwise return bitwise equals that. And select then yield buttons return, which I assume would have been 0 if no buttons. No, it would have been none if no buttons were pressed, because we were essentially not pressing any buttons and we were getting to here, pass, and there's no return, so we would have been implicitly returning none. Well, yielding. So yield buttons return yield if yield button return buttons return if buttons return. I'm gonna say greater than 0, even though it's not necessary. You could just say if buttons return, because 0 is falsy. We could say not equals 0 too, but so then we're gonna return none or yield none if that was 0, basically, which seems like what it would have been doing before as well. Okay, so where does the connected So we're gonna. Oh no, actually, I have the gamepad connected, so we don't need to fake that. Actually, okay. Let's. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I gotta run to the restroom as well, though, so I'll BRB. Okay. So if I've done things correctly, because we are returning a thing that looks the same as the other one, the number that has all of those, that has those values bitwised into it. It's 2 bytes, which I guess would have been 16. So I suppose there's actually like a silent 2 leading zeros there. But because we're just returning the same number, I believe like all the previous and debouncing and how long we've been holding down stuff should hopefully be working. Because I do think you hold A in order to charge up the catapult. So if that doesn't work, then the game I don't think will work either. Pixel buff? No I2C device. Maybe this one's different? So it's actually not passing anything there. Maybe that's a non-standard port? Well, they're not a port, right? The address, I guess? See that? Okay. Select, though, is not working. Because it's just constantly spamming select. Oh, okay, I see the problem. Well, a problem. There is a select button right there. and there's A, B, X, Y, and there's a joystick, and there's a reset. There is no start button. So my guess is that my guess is that ours is maybe reading start as select. No. Everything is different. Okay, let's copy this then. And then we don't have start, so we need to not use that. So let's say button X randomly will be our start button. Of course, doesn't seem to exist, but none of these really seem to exist. Oh, actually, it just doesn't exist. What? Where's the other buttons? This has A, B, X, Y. Of course, there's no code, though. The GitHub repository. But this just goes to the Seesaw library. You gotta go to examples. I don't know where this code is. I don't really want to go through the Arduino IDE. Ah, man, I wish this one would have AB and stuff. It would not have something in my eye. Okay. So, like, and I have no idea, is the order of these important? I guess probably, right? Is this even being used, though? It's not being used. Oh, it's getting passed, actually, yeah. I really wish that we had just one, like, one with all of them. Those, okay. Well, those, what? Okay, well, maybe let's just believe that's true then. Let's rename them to match the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, because this is using analog read, so yeah, I guess for some reason, I don't know why those are named that way. Maybe that's how they're physically laid out. But X is up? Okay, that's how they're physically laid out on the board. So right is actually A, down is actually B, left is Y, and up is X. And I think was it just cell instead of select? Yeah. Unsupported types for and. Doesn't actually seem like it likes none, even though it seems like it would return none. Way that it used to work, so I don't know. I'm misinterpreting it? Okay. It's running. It thinks it found the gamepad. We have our fake gamepad hooked up. Start button should be the X button. The game actually starts. Skeletons are here. A button should wind up the catapult. And releasing should throw the pumpkin. And it does animate very fast. Actually quite hard to hit the skeletons too. This feels faster than... Well, let's do some things here. Let's turn these off. Because the printing in here will make it slower, for sure. Although it feels very fast, honestly. I wonder if you can hit it while it's rising, or if you have to wait. Some of those feel like they're going to hit, but then they don't. Oh, there we go. Like, that one looked like it kind of phased through. I mean, it is a skeleton, though. It doesn't have a lot of meat on them bones. Okay, this game is super cool, though. Now that we've got it running, I should switch these around. Like, this should be on the bottom of the screen, probably. What does the select button do? I think it paused. Because now the skeletons aren't moving. Yeah, and the A button doesn't do anything. So select again, unpauses. Oh, the skeletons have little swords too, I didn't notice. Oh, you gotta go really far for that last one. Oh, overshot. Not sure if I overshot or undershot. Okay. It feels fast. It feels faster than the one I saw in the guide. Yeah, I mean mine's flying way faster than that. I feel like my skeletons are smaller too, but the thing is, this is very zoomed in. And I am working from a camera that's further away from the screen. And then not zoomed in as much. What? Don't do that, please. Stop. Okay. Let me look at it directly real quick. Okay, yeah, that's still way faster. My best guess here is that not having data coming in over the USB host is allowing the rest of the screen to go faster because USB host and the screen are both using SPI. Now, I have USB host connected. I have my PyGamer gamepad thing connected to it, but it's actually more of a keyboard than a gamepad. And it is presumably not sending any data because I'm not pressing any buttons. And even when I was pressing buttons, we weren't receiving them in the code anyway, so we weren't reading them the right way. It's unclear to me if they were using time to transfer in the SPI bus or not, but in any case, they weren't coming through to the code. Okay. So we have a baseline of how fast it is, which is pretty darn fast. The next thing I want to know is, does it get appreciably slower if we use anchored TileGrid instead of TileGrid just on the surface? And then, sort of separately-ish, if we actually move it with anchored TileGrid, does it slow down the performance a bunch or not? Those are kind of the root things that I was after here. It did take us a while to get to the point where we could actually test them. I need to find maybe like, let's find all the tile grids. Pumpkin toss background, pumpkin toss tile, pumpkin toss sprites. I'm gonna title. Okay, that's title screen. PAL2, that's a palette. Sprites. Catapults and skeletons. Subgroups on the tile grids. Visualize the state machine. We're past all the tile grid mentions. Where do the pumpkins come from? Load pumpkin. Set state for firing pumpkin, catapult, charge 0, pumpkin, XY. I don't know what VU. Velocity and something? Catapult, charge, set pumpkin, hide. Where is the tile grid that holds the pumpkin? There's no actual tile grids in here. Catapult? Catapult. Catapult. Okay, catapult has a tile grid. Charge indicator has a tile grid. Pumpkin has a tile grid. TGP. Okay, so if we just change that, if we do nothing else but just change this to an anchored tile grid for the pumpkin, is there any noticeable difference to the pumpkin speed? Did I save? I mean, it feels basically the same to me. Boy, that looked like a hit. There, we got him. Punkin' Chunkin'. This reminds me of like a thing called Junkyard Wars. And they would build a pumpkin launcher with stuff they found in a junkyard, although I'm sure they stocked it for TV in hindsight. I think that was a Mythbusters thing too. I don't know if there's a myth to that or if they just felt like catapulting pumpkins, which is understandable, frankly. I mean, it sounds pretty fun. Okay, I don't know. That looks pretty much the same to me. The next thing, though, is TGP. Somewhere it must be like applying to gravity and stuff, like moving it. Yeah, moving its X and Y's right here. So, what if we would go... TGP dot, I'm just gonna do an anchor point. I mean, it's really small, so like we're not gonna change it that much by doing this. I'm just gonna do middle of that, and then whenever we would change the X and Y, instead I'm gonna say TGP anchored position we want. Pumpkin X, pumpkin Y. So this is going to move it like down and to the right a tiny bit. It's probably going to mess up the I don't know for sure. It might mess up the collisions, possibly. But really what I'm interested in is the speed, again, at which it flies and renders, like the frame rate. which again feels pretty much the same to me, honestly. I do... Oh. Wow, 2 in a row. 3 in a row! Okay, there's no way, right? Okay, yeah. Got too hyped up on the 4th one. This game's pretty fun. I do like this game. A score would be cool. How many skeletons have I pumpkined? Okay. I mean, it feels basically the same to me still with this even, honestly. It definitely still feels faster than in the YouTube video. Let me stare at this a few more times. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's way faster, right? This is like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Like, we're over 2 seconds of hang time. Whereas in mine, I think we'd be hard-pressed to even be at a full single second. 1 Mississippi. Not even done with the Mississippi by the time it's off the bottom. 1 Mississippi. Yeah, I feel like we are way faster, even still. Okay. So that was a long and winding road, but that was basically the main thing that I was trying to get after. Was that information, and it has been about 2 hours, which actually kind of flew by. So it does not feel like that to me, but the clock doesn't lie, I don't think, except for when daylight savings time happens. So I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon. But let me go ahead and write back my results here. Okay, I think I am going to wrap it up there. I wrote back, that's what I was doing over there. Sorry, I don't think I ever said that, maybe. But I was just writing back to Sam in the CircuitPython dev channel about this. These are the ones who made the game, and they wanted to know the outcome of the testing. So yeah, thanks for watching. Anyone who does have a Featherwing USB host thing, if you happen to have the gamepad and you want to play this, or if you want to hack it together using a different gamepad like I did, you now have a video that shows you at least one way to do that. It's actually pretty easy once we got into the code. Once I wrapped my head around the right way to do the bit math and stuff, it's actually was really easy to change because of the way this is broken out into its own thing. Like, this is still messy, right? We still have all the USB stuff in here, theoretically. If I was going to use this on my own hardware without the USB gamepad, like, we could cut all the rest of this stuff out, potentially. But even with it all still in there, just kind of overriding the pull by commenting out the old stuff, putting in a new loop and a new yield, and making sure to return the same way, same type of stuff that the old one does. That made it basically a drop-in replacement, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day and a good weekend and all that stuff. Hug report again. Thanks to Sam Blenny for this game project. This is again. I'll put this one up. So there's on the playground. You search under playground Sam Blenny pages pumpkin versus skeleton game for CircuitPython. You can find that listed there. And then there is a GitHub link as well. Let me pull that one. So GitHub Sam Blenny pumpkin toss game is what we've been messing with. So check that out if you are interested in it. And other than that, I will bid you farewell. Hope you have a good day and a good weekend. I will see you later.